The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Oh shit! It's Vince Russo!
Vince McMahon's best kept secret.
I am the Antichrist of professional wrestling.
David Arquette won the world title.
I've got a wife, 3 kids at home, and I really don't need this shit.
How can this show be so awful, Mr. McMahon? I didn't think it was.
Viagra on a pole match.
And Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch, kiss my ass.
Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. McMahon, the family, The Rock, they screwed us all.
Now you're the editor, right?
Mankind did it! Jumpy, beat me! Goldberg steered Russo out of the cage.
I'm from New York.
I'll get downright nasty.
This is Vince Russo's The Brand.
Today is a happy day. Today is one of the perks of me sitting here doing this 5 days a week because let's face it, I spend a lot of my time talking to big, hairy, smelly wrestlers. And trust me, they smell. Like I've been around a lot of them and they really stink. And you know what? A lot of times, you heard one wrestler, you heard them all. But today I have one of my favorite people who I cannot believe I haven't spoken to in almost a year, because she definitely is one of my favorite people. And I'm talking about how I always refer to her as the lovely Velvet Sky.
You're too sweet, Vince. Thanks so much.
Velvet, I got to tell you this. Here's the first thing that's already taken my breath away.
Okay.
I've never seen your hair this dark before.
This is more my natural color, believe it or not. I mean, I've pretty much been somewhat, if not all the way blonde, my entire wrestling career. It's what the fans are used to seeing. But, I'm just trying to go back to my roots, like literally. So, it's kind of working for me because it's the upkeep and the maintenance is a lot less.
Well, Velvet, I have to ask you that. I've never seen, you're always kind of streaky, but I've never seen you with your hair this dark. It looks great. Like, why would you have gone to blonde in the first place? Because,
I grew up with dark hair and I get bored easily with just, one look on myself. So, I'm always trying to just change it up. But this time, it's completely like my natural color down here. Up here, I kind of just keep, I like the blonde, so I just try to incorporate it into less quantities. But back to my natural color works a lot better for me. I'm not a girl. I hate all the maintenance, so this definitely.
Yeah, no, you definitely. I could vouch for that. Velvet was never one of those girly girls. I could definitely vouch for that. But listen,
the character I played.
You were not. And Velvet, I don't want to go back. I've told the story a couple of times of you in the back seat on the phone when you were threatening to rip some girl's heart out with your brother or something. I don't like to go to that ugly side of Velvet.
When it comes to defending my family, I will go to the extreme. Sorry you had to hear that. But
now, Velvet, I got to ask you this, and please don't work me. I prayed a little bit before we did this podcast.
Okay.
Are we Bubba free? Like, is it just me and you doing the podcast? Is he in the next room? Is he hiding? No. Just me and you.
Hand to God. He just went to the barbershop. He had to go. He goes once a week. I told him, let me do the podcast. You go to the barbershop. We'll meet in the middle. Hand to God, he's not here.
Now, you do know, though, I got the phone call about an hour ago with all the do's and don'ts. You do know that.
It's like a father letting his daughter go out on a date for the first time and all the threats and the do's and the don'ts. Oh, boy.
Listen, Velvet, between you and me, okay, now's your chance. How long has this relationship been going on with you and Bubba?
Well, we've been together now for 2 years. We've been just super cool, kind of like best buds now. Going on 8 years. I've known him for a long time. So we were friends before we actually got together, and just all those years of friendship. You get to know somebody, you're on the road with them, you're buddies with them, you're friends with them, and then it's like, okay, He's available. I'm available. We already pretty much know everything about one another, what makes one another tick, what to say, so everything just kind of fell into place for us at the timing. And with me, timing is everything. I'm a big believer in live at timing is everything.
Velvet, listen to me. He's not
Yeah.
he's not in the house, right?
I promise you with all
Okay.
my heart, he's not. I can't do that.
Between you and me, here is your opportunity. If he's holding you captive and he's been holding you against your free will, now is the time to blink twice. Velvet, you don't have to say anything because you know everything gets recorded. Look at me and blink twice and I'll know.
Okay, ready?
Yes. I think I saw it, but was that a blink? There you go.
I only blinked once. I blinked once. That's not the same as blinking twice.
Velvet, this
There's
freaking...
no chains. There's no chains. Look, no chains.
Velvet, this Mark LaMonaco, Velvet.
Yes.
This always amazes me. Velvet, I cannot tell you. This is an absolute shoot. Every time I interview somebody at TNA, I know they worked with you and Bubba.
Yeah.
I always say to them, listen, I think this is like a big conspiracy theory. I think Bubba worked this whole thing to make himself look. And I always try to get somebody to tell me it's an absolute work. And nobody has ever admitted to being a work.
So what have you come to the conclusion then?
I can't believe a big. Hey, Velvet, I know you're not Italian, but you know what juice is? You ever hear the word juice?
I have.
I can't believe a big juice like Mark LaMonaco gets the lovely Velvet Sky.
Believe it or not, he has a heart of gold.
He does.
That is
Yes,
what I
does.
went after.
Yes.
Like, I have a huge heart myself, so heart recognize heart, here. And he really has one of the biggest hearts of
But
anyone.
Velvet, let me ask you this, and be honest with me. And bro, I call you bro. Velvet, I love
Bro,
Bubba.
it's fine.
Everybody knows I love Bubba, and I know he's got a heart of gold. I know
Yes,
that.
he does.
But I got to ask you this, Velvet, because you hear this all the time, especially with like attractive girls. What was it? The bad boy? Like, did the bad boy thing have anything to do with it, or was it really the big heart of a bear?
Well, here's the thing. When I first met Bubba, it was my first year in TNA back in 2007. So when I first met him, I didn't know him prior to that. I didn't know anything about him. I didn't know his heart. I wasn't friends with him prior to that. So as time went on, and I got to know him as on a work level, on a personal level, professional level, he doesn't really let people in, you know what I mean, that aren't in his close circle. Like, not a lot of people do that. So I never really got to see the wholeheartedness of him really until especially when we started dating, because that's when he let me in. Prior to that, he's just an amazing business person, amazing mind for the business. He inspired me. His whole, the whole Dudley Boys thing, I've always been a huge fan of that from back in the Attitude Era. So I knew him from there. I was a fan then. Now I'm working with him. He's very intimidating if you don't know him. So I kind of just respected him. I've always respected him. Getting to know him on a professional level, he's just very, very inspiring. He always has such great ideas for whatever it is he's involved in or whoever he's offering ideas from. So he's inspired me on a lot of levels, and just the transformation that he made, when he got in bully shape. That's just that's the icing on the cake for me. I'm like, wow, this guy is really, really inspiring. So I was proud to call him my friend. But I still didn't know him on a personal level here until we started dating, and he let me in. And now I can wholeheartedly say how big of a heart that I have got to know from the time we've been together.
Velvet, can I ask you a very personal question? And listen, you got to answer this question, and I got to tell you why. You know what amazes me sometimes as a writer? I have a lot of free time on my hands, Velvet, so I think about a lot of these things a lot. You know what I think is hysterical?
What?
When I think about it, there are like actually some people in the business that like I kind of gave them their name. Like, you know, like I'm almost like a third parent. You know, like everybody calls you Velvet. I named you Velvet.
That's
so
right.
Because of that, I think you could answer this next question for me.
Okay.
All right. You're friends. You got a relationship. You're friends. Then it becomes more of a friendship.
Yeah.
Like, is it a move? Is it something he says? Or like, is it like just one night does something happen? Like, how does he go from point A to point B?
Well, really, it's just like getting to know him throughout the years. Okay, without all the mushy gushy stuff. Okay, just from my point of view, like, you know, the times on the road that we all got to go out and hang out and get something to eat, or, you know, we're drinking together. Him and I just always seem to have the most fun. So we clicked on that personal level just as friends. Because, I mean, really, like back then, you know, he was dating someone, I was dating someone. We never tried to, like, you know, get together like that because we both always respected each other's relationship.
Right.
But we would still on the road, like not just him and I, there'd be a bunch of us after shows, after TVs, you know, we'd go out here, we'd go out there just to have fun, kick back, have drinks. And like I said, him and I were always the loudest, the most fun. We had the most fun together on a friendship level. So I think the more personal, like not personal because there were like lots of people there, but the more experiences we had like that outside of work, and the more we like hung around one another, you know, like I wasn't falling for him back then when I was dating whoever. And please don't take it like that. I'm not trying to.
I understand. Yeah.
You know, the more you get to know someone outside of the walls of work, you know, the more you see how they act on an everyday level or how they kick it. And we just always had fun together. And what's one of the biggest things that we pride ourselves on to this day is we have so much fun together. We just click. We connect. We have the same likes. We have the same personality. You know, like, I don't know. It's just we always connected on that level. So I just think at the time I was available and he was available. We were like, what are we waiting for?
Do you call him Bubba?
No. We have a couple different nicknames for
Let me
one
hear the
another.
names. Come on, give me an exclusive. What are the nicknames?
No.
What are they? Come on, let me hear them nicknames.
I don't think I could say it on the
Lover
air.
Boy. Do you call him Lover Boy?
Can I swear on the air or
Yeah,
no?
no, it's a podcast one, free reign.
Okay, we call each other fuckface sometimes.
Oh, hey.
I told you.
But
I warned you.
But every time I talk to him, he refers to you as Velvet. Does he call you Velvet or just to me?
No, like he doesn't call me Velvet on a personal day-to-day basis, but if he's talking about someone, you know, to me in the wrestling business, not a lot of people know me as Jamie, you know, so if you're talking to like you or whoever, like on an everyday basis, do you know who Jamie is or do you know who Velvet? If someone says Velvet, you're going to think of me instantly. So no, he doesn't call me Velvet every day. Just
Well,
people.
I gotta know. You know, and Velvet, I gotta tell you something. Here's the thing. I'm sitting here now, and let me tell you, these are the things that run through my head because I got a lot of time on my hands. I almost feel like a third parent to you, to Angelina, and to Matasox because I gave you all your names.
Yes, and I can't even tell you how great of a time that was.
But I got to tell you something. But now, Angelina, Matasox, they go out, they get married. Now they have children, and all of a sudden, your stepdad, they don't know stepdad from Adam anymore.
Oh, no.
And it's been a year since you and I talked. A year.
Well, let me just defend myself by saying, no excuse, but for the past year I started I started back at school again, so that's really I started last summer, and that's really all I've been doing.
Velvet, that blew me away, and I want to talk about that because we were DMing and you're like, yeah, okay, but I got school that day, and that's where like I had no idea. Tell me about that, because when I heard that, I thought that was a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, when you get into this business, you, especially at a young age, you obviously, like, it has a shelf life. You know, you can't physically you can't hold up to the physical demands of the business forever. You just can't, you know? So I got into the business. I was 20 years old. I was actually in college. I lived on campus. I went to a college in Connecticut. All I could think about in school for my first year and a half was how much I wanted to be a professional wrestler, like my focus was not on my studies at the time, like it should have been. But so my dreams were pretty much bigger than my reality, what was going on. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do to make this? How do I change? How do I go in the direction of what's calling me? So I made a very life-changing decision. I left school. We had to move I moved back home with my parents. I found a school, a local independent or a local wrestling school around me. I, joined there. I pretty much been in the business now for 15 years, but I knew back then leaving that no matter what, I always wanted to return to my education, no matter what, whether I have millions of dollars saved or nothing saved. Like, it was always important, because at the end of the day, in the real world, sometimes the difference between eating and starving is that piece of paper, which is a degree. I always knew I needed it. So whatever. Fast forward to now, I was just at a point in my life where I kind of just wasn't happy with what I was doing from a professional standpoint. Now, I'm not saying anything, negative about my time in TNA, because I was very blessed and I had a very satisfying career with them. But I was just at a point from a business standpoint and just a personal standpoint, I wasn't having fun anymore. So I felt that I needed to change, and I needed to, this would have been a best time than ever to return to my education. So last summer, I just felt the timing was right. I prayed a lot about it, and new doors were being opened for me. New opportunities were being placed in front of me. It's as if, it's been down from heaven right in front of me, because it's just what I had been looking to do. So I got myself back in school. And it's a full-time basis. It takes up pretty much all of my time, which is why I'm only taking limited bookings right now, because my focus is my studies. I'm 100% especially 5 days a week dedicated to school. And I'm going to take my degree, and I'm going to go to ESPN, and I'm going to try to further my career in the next chapter of my life. I'd love to stay involved in the wrestling industry, but I want to have that degree.
So when you talk ESPN, are you talking in front of the camera broadcasting or behind the camera? What are we talking about?
Here's the thing. I'm going to school for marketing right now.
And what school are you going to? Because I used to live in Connecticut. So
okay, it's called Post University.
Okay, I think I've heard of that. Okay. All right.
So I'm going for marketing, but I just feel like I'm going for marketing, and I know I would do well in that area. But at the same time, the experience that I have behind the camera for the last 10 years of my, on-screen career, I feel that would help me in other avenues of ESPN. So I wouldn't just be limited to the degree of marketing. My experience in being a journalist, or just a news reporter, I feel that experience comes with the 10 years that I've had experience behind the camera in, TNA and the wrestling industry as a whole. So I feel like I could explore different avenues of ESPN. So it's just a matter of kind of, getting my degree and kind of getting, trying to get my start there. And I live, it's probably 20-25 minutes away from where I live. So,
Velvet, I have to ask you this, because I'm real curious about this.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago. Yeah, just about 10 years ago, right? I decided I wanted to take some classes in seminary, right? So I went to Denver Seminary here, okay? And I took a couple of online classes. Now, keep in mind, I'm 45 at the time. I hadn't been in school in 25 years. Velvet, it was so freaking difficult because
Yeah.
like my mind was just not there. Are you going through that? Like, you went to school once, you knew
Yeah.
what it was like, but now all of a sudden going back 15 years later, it's got to be twice as hard.
Well, it's definitely it's a little bit more, it's challenging and it's accepting at the same time, because to be honest, like pretty much a lot of people when they're 18, 19 years old, you really don't know what you want to do with your future. I mean, a lot of people do, but I feel like most people don't. They want to do what they feel they want to do at the time.
Yeah.
But then you have all these years to grow in life, and your views and your likes and your dislikes, they change. So I feel like you have to live life and have life experiences before you really find yourself and what you want to do. So I know for me, 15 years ago, when I went to school because I felt like that was the thing to do.
Right.
But I wasn't really emotionally invested in, oh yeah, let's go to college. Let's just go through the motions of life. All right, I'll go to college. I'll get a degree. I'll get a job I probably don't care about. And then, ooh, there's life, you know? I feel like I have so much left to give inside. I feel so much passion and so much drive that sometimes, like when I'm, sitting doing my work, like I think about that and it sidetracks me a little bit, because I really do have so much left to give than just like, hanging up the boots or hanging up the whole even entertainment aspect, of our business. So it is hard at times to do my work. And
do you meant it? Because see, I like, this is where like I was like, holy crap, this is a whole different animal.
It is.
Do you mentally feel as sharp as you did when you were first a student? Because I could not believe like my book smarts was gone.
Yeah, for me, I could actually say that because I'm at this point in my life, I feel more focused than I did when I was 19 years old. Again, when you're 19 years old, you haven't fully matured. You haven't lived life. You haven't even began to live life. I've actually, I've lived that part of my life. And I just feel like now I have another goal. Like I achieved my first goal of a professional wrestler, on worldwide television. I had the time of my life. Not that part is over. I'm still actively involved in wrestling appearances and wrestling bookings, but it's just my more serious shift has focused because now I have a new goal, and I'm a goal setter. I have to have a goal, and I have to work toward achieving that goal. I can't just be, so.
No, but you know what concerns me? Look, I definitely believe that about you. The focus and the goal, I believe.
The focus definitely shifts your point of your point of view.
But you know what concerns me a little? You got a plan. You've been going to school now for a year. You know what you want to do. This is what concerns me a little bit. What if, and we always say in wrestling, never say never.
Right.
What if all of a sudden this big WWE offer comes in, just say for argument's sake, do you now, and I'm sure you've thought about this, do you now stop this again and go back there with maybe never having the opportunity of going back to school again?
We'll see. Well, I mean, I had thought about that too, but my whole reason for wanting to, set myself up with a degree is you want to make sure that you obviously everybody wants to live life comfortably. I thought about that. Like, what if in the middle of trying to achieve my degree, what if an offer comes along? Well, in all honesty, I'm a business person, so it would come down to, is it worth it for me? Yeah. You know what I mean? I really have to. So my focus has shifted. My focus has shifted just a little bit more recently than before. And like I said, I'm still. It's a great question because I thought about it, and it would have to be worth it to me. It would have to be worth it. Where, okay, I'm giving up, this, I only have about 10 classes left to go. I mean, and it's a lot. It's over a year, or, a little bit more before I will have a degree. But the degree is to just start the next chapter in my life and continue to set myself up, just professionally and financially. So the offer would have to be worth it, like worth my time to actually walk away from my studies,
And you're going full time during the day, correct?
Yeah.
So Velvet, you're literally in classrooms with like 19 and 20-year-old guys that must be going freaking nuts. And the 19 and 20-year-old girls must absolutely hate you.
Everybody's pretty cool, I must say. I get along. I'm the type of person where, like, I get along with everybody, really. And if I don't get along with somebody, then it's just very rare. So people prejudge me, like they have these misconceptions, I guess just by looking at me if they don't know me.
Yeah.
Like I get along with everybody.
Well, Velvet, I gotta stop you right there.
Yeah.
Now you're making me sidetrack because my ADD's kicking in, and if I don't ask you this, I'm gonna forget.
Okay.
Because this caught me by surprise. Somebody told me this, and I would tell you who it is. I kind of can't remember. I honestly can't remember. But somebody told me this, and I was very surprised by this. Now, you got to tell me everything because I gave you your name. This ain't Joe Blow dirt sheet guy interviewing you. This is stepdad.
Okay, what's up?
Somebody told me this story, and I'm like, I was like, wow. It kind of caught me by surprise because I love both individuals.
Uh-oh.
Somebody told me like there was like a lot of heat between you and Miss Tessmacher.
Oh no.
Never?
I mean, right now, no.
No, not right now, not right now. But back at the TNA days, I was surprised by that.
Well, I mean, like it's not something like that. Let me put it this way, okay? Everybody has sometimes, like even the nicest of people, even people that get along with everybody. Every so often, your life's not perfect. You're not going to walk through life and everyone you meet is going to be butterflies and rainbows. Like,
I think your life is perfect though. I got to be honest.
No,
I think you're living a perfect life.
It's far from perfect.
Okay.
I'll say I'm blessed, but it's far from perfect.
Okay.
But,
Get it.
No, really, like Brooke and I, like we just had a little, like we butted heads just a little bit. And I mean, we moved past it. We hugged it out. And we're totally, that's water under the bridge at this point.
And now I'm so
happy for her right now.
She's having the baby. I mean, Velvet, you gotta listen. They're all had babies or are having babies. You got now. This got to start where does this fit with you now with everything you got going on?
No, I mean, the babies that the girls have had, I mean, they're so beautiful, all of them, and I'm so happy for them, and they're all doing great. Everybody's happy, everybody's healthy. I'm happy for everybody. Kids, just in my life, I knew from a young age, like I've always just been very career focused, and I don't want to say selfish because selfish would be, I don't want to try to raise a child while I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do career-wise. I feel like for me personally, I would have to give up what I'm doing in order to raise my child the way, I would want to raise my child. So
are you saying, Velvet, let me translate this for you. Are you saying, correct me if I'm wrong, are you saying, I like Bubba, but I don't ever want to have his kids, God forbid?
Oh no, we both feel like that.
All right, I tried to sneak that
Neither one of us, and that's why we're a perfect fit too. Neither one of us want kids.
Listen, hold on for a minute. Hold on. We've put this guy over to nauseum. No, I'm throwing up in my own mouth with Bubba over here. Enough with. Let me go. Listen. I'm holding you to this.
Okay.
Give me one bad flaw. Give me one bad habit. What is he? Does he leave his dirty underwear laying around? Give me one thing. One thing.
Sometimes he snores and he uses more paper towels than he's the paper towel. I know that's stupid, but yes, that peeves the shit out of me.
What's he use a lot of paper towels for?
Because he'll wash his hands, and instead of using the towel, like I have like 100 towels like in the kitchen, and instead of it's just little things like that. Like, and it's stupid. It's
these may be red flags, Velvet. These may be red flags. The towels.
Oh no! Is this where it starts? Oh no!
I knew he wasn't perfect. The snoring and the paper towels.
I can't take it anymore, Vince. I don't know how to get away from it. The paper towels. Every time I look at the roll.
Unbelievable. All right, Velvet, let me ask you this now. I got to ask you that. Velvet, I want to get serious with you for a second, and I'm going to tell you why. A lot of wrestlers listen to this show now, especially since I'm on Podcast One, because I get feedback all the time. So I like to talk about things that I know are pertinent to people in the business. Velvet, this is the God honest truth, and I'm not kidding you. I literally have a list of guys I call on a weekly basis just to make sure they're okay.
Oh, that's good.
Well, no, but it's not good because you know what I'm talking about. After wrestling, they didn't know what to do with them. You know what I'm saying? It's and Velvet, I went through that too for a little while. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what to do myself.
Yeah.
You said something. It sounded like, because you said earlier, I wasn't happy with my life, what this and that. So it sounded like you may have had a period like that. And so that's my question to you. If you did have a period like that, and now all of a sudden I'm focused, I got a goal, nobody's stopping me. For others that struggle, beyond, the career, and, you're still young. You could maybe wrestling again tomorrow. Yeah. But how did you get from point A to point B?
Well, I'm actually still trying to get there. I'm not 100% there yet, because we all get stuck in this, we call it the wrestling bubble. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you get in wrestling from a young age and you're in it for, over a decade or more, it's pretty much all you eat, sleep, and breathe wrestling. It's pretty much, it becomes your lifestyle, especially now you're on the road, you're traveling all over the world, it's really all there really is not a lot of time for an outside world or outside jobs, so it's like I just got to a point where I'm a thinker. I sit and I think a lot. I spend a lot of time by myself just thinking. I try to I'm here for a purpose, and I feel like the purpose that I set out and the goal I set out to fulfill in the first part of my life, which was a professional wrestler, I have fulfilled that goal. Whether or not I ever get to WWE, you know what I mean? That's not, it would always be in the back of my mind. Yeah, it would be cool to go there, but it's not like my goal, because my goal was to make it as a professional, not to say that, like I said, if something wasn't talked about or worked out with them, I'm not saying I would turn it down, but I'm not the way I was working toward being a professional wrestler the first time around before TNA called me. I'm no longer of that mindset, because I have fulfilled that. Now it's this is the second part of my life and my career. So with the whole school thing, everything just kind of fell into place with going back to school. And then, my shift just focused, because a lot of times it's just hard to give up the norm and what you're used to every day. I still feel okay, I'm a performer, I'm an entertainer. I may have not have been ever been the best in-ring wrestler. I know that. I never said I was. You'll never hear me say I'm a great wrestler. Oh, I'm great. I know that. But I feel like I was meant to just be a performer, an entertainer, a crowd pleaser, So I still feel like I have that left in me to give. So it is hard to make the transition from, wrestler and going from that to now shifting it to a more serious note, like going back to school. But like I said before, I always have a goal. You can never stop setting goals. When you stop setting goals, it's just, then you're stuck. Then you're just in limbo. Then you're just existing, which that's fine. You know what I mean? But when you have a spirit and the passion and the drive that I have, I just feel it's just hard to keep that caged. I feel like I need to be out there doing so much more. whether it's in a wrestling ring or whether it's in, the doors of ESPN, broadcasting, marketing, being a news journalist, being in a TV show, a movie, acting, whatever the case may be. It's hard to keep that in check, like you said, and it's hard to make that transition. But I just know if that part of my life never worked out, I still have to live with my decisions, and I have to do what's important for me and my future, and securing that education is more important to me because I think long term. I like to live in the moment, day by day, but you have to set yourself up. There comes a point in your wrestling career, and you have to set yourself up. You have to continue to set yourself up for your future. You can't wait until, you're, 40, 45 years old to go, oh, well, I had a great, TV career, but I ran out of money. Now what do I do?
But a lot of guys fall into that trap, And
my heart goes out to them because, I thought about, for the longest time, I'm like, I have to get myself to a point in my life where I don't want that to be what I have to look forward to. I want my memory of the wrestling business to be happy and positive like it is now. I don't want to keep going and use up all my money and my body's broken down now. Now I'm, 47 and I'm broken and I have no money, and it's like, where do you turn? And normally, people at that point, you're at the lowest point in your life. What do? You take a turn for the worst. And I just, in my thinking, my constant thinking, I'm like, I can't do that. I can't have that be my life. I have to make my future start now and what I do. And I don't want to be in class. I don't want to be, I don't want that to take up my time. A spirit like me, my spirit just wants to be out there soaring and flying in what I feel I was made to do, and that's entertain. But for now, that's not the path that is chosen for me. So right now, I have to do what's important, for me and the school right now.
Velvet, I want to ask you this. Did your have coming out, you put a lot of years in wrestling and you're young. That's why people don't realize that. You said 15 years, a lot of years, a lot of match. Yeah. Did your body come out of this all right? I mean, Velvet, do you wake up feeling aches and pains, or did you come out of this pretty good so far?
Well, I'm pretty blessed, like I said, I as far from an in-ring point of view, I feel my strengths were always in my character, what my character would do, as far, you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I always, made my matches around. So I was never this high flyer diver, God bless them, but I was never, I just never was able to take those physical risks. I mean, the bumping over 15 years, that will leave its mark on you. My neck is just always kind of achy. But for the most part, I'm blessed, and I feel like I'm in excellent physical condition, and I don't wake up limping and with a sore hip, and I thank God for that. But I never had the wrestling style to have that be the outcome. And right now, with the limited bookings too, I just feel like I want to just make every bump count,
Let's go back to the thing. I got to go back for a minute because I'm a little preoccupied. Okay. We've established he snores like some kind of zoo animal. We've established he's got a big problem with paper towels.
Paper towels.
He's all over the place. He's the paper towel Nazi.
He is.
I have to assume. I don't want to assume too much. Does he leave wet towels on the floor?
I have to say, and his real estate lady will vouch for this too. He is one of the cleanest men. I swear. That's why I brought his real estate agent into it. She walked into his house one day. This is even before I was in the picture. And she thought a woman lived there. That's how neat and tidy and clean. And I was even shocked the first time too. I was like, holy crap, dude. This is totally not a dude's house. So
well, okay. All right. Velvet, enough with the, he's neat. Okay. We get it. Okay. There's no way. Bubba,
I swear.
There's no way he washes dishes.
No, I take care of that
Oh,
stuff.
there you go. Okay. See now? See, another flaw.
No. I don't mind. I'm a worker. I have to always be doing something too. So I mean, I take care of like the light household stuff like that. He's just not a slob, and I thank God for it because I'm not a slob. I can't.
Who cuts the lawn? Who cuts the lawn?
We have a lawn care come and cut the lawn. But if we had a mower, I would cut the lawn. I've cut the lawn before. I enjoy cutting the lawn. But it's been too hot this year to cut the lawn.
Does he? Okay. Does he eat cookies in bed?
We eat cookies on the couch.
All right. Let's go to another subject. I want to talk about this because you're 20 years younger than me, and you will be forever cool and hip.
Thank you.
And everybody tells me I'm irrelevant. I'm an old man. I'm bitter. I've heard the whole gamut with me already. Okay, but I got to ask you this, and you know how much this impressed me, and I got to see if we're on the same page when it comes to this.
Okay.
You blew me away with the classic rock history.
Oh, absolutely. I have my dad to thank for that.
You told me. Tell me a little bit more about that because we didn't have a lot of time when we were doing that. Because you blew me away with the artists you were reeling off. It blew me away.
All that music that we have talked about in prior interviews, I mean, that's music that I grew up on through my father. Because my father, I mean, back then he had, the tapes. Remember tape players?
Of course, 8-track, cassettes. I even remember reel to reel. Yeah.
So, he was always taking me and my brother and my sister, in the summertime, we would go up to like the lake and the river and we would swim. We'd go with the dogs and we'd go hiking. My dad's a very outdoorsy person. That's kind of where I get it from. And so we were always doing something like that. He had us in the car. But so in the long car rides, he just would have cassette tapes. And they were just songs that his favorite songs that he from Pink Floyd to CCR, Bob Seger, Steve Miller, Jefferson Airplane, the G's, all those and fantastic rock bands. And that's all I heard, whether it was in the car, whether he was in the garage working, in his bedroom just jamming. That's all I heard. So it's pretty much I grew up on that. So
let me ask you this, Velvet, as somebody 20 years younger than me. Listen, you could see behind me the only one who I freaking adore, and I love Rihanna. That's the only one.
I love Rihanna.
Outside of Rihanna, I think the rest of the music sucks, is horrible. Do you like any music today, or is that just me being an old man?
Honestly, I don't even listen to I don't know. It's so much. Everything is so much different from like the 90s. Music, TV, everything. So music, I love music. Like music I listen to music all the time. I can't tell you any modern day music that I like. I mean, my playlist, it's just all old school music.
So like if you go to concerts, you're going to old school concerts? What's the last concert you went to?
The last concert I went to was the CCR Revisited, like the new CCR. And the lead singer, if we had really good seats too, it was an excellent concert. And the lead singer, if you close your eyes while he's performing, you would think it was Fogerty.
See, Velvet, let's talk about this for a second. One of my biggest pet peeves that I hate, and I call them fake. Like, Velvet, I'm a huge Steve Perry mark. Okay, Journey. And they screwed Steve Perry. They screwed him, and they went on with other lead singers. My biggest pet peeve is I call them fake Journey now because it's not Steve Perry. Fake Foreigner because Lou Graham isn't there. Fake Styx because it's not Dennis DeYoung.
That's not the same.
Yeah, but yet you went to the CCR concert and you said you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it because, I know what you're saying. It's not the original members of the band. And I think for me, it's just more the music. It's more, and like I said, if you close your eyes while you're listening to them, the lead singer sounds, I think that's what did it for me. It's like, for instance, this is a horrible example, but for instance, Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger.
Right.
Biggest Freddy fan right here. Okay. pretty much did all the Freddie movies. I grew up on Freddie. We all know Robert Englund, how he looks. And then in the newer Freddie, I can't remember the name of it because there's so many now. They had a different actor portray Robert Englund.
Right.
I couldn't get on board with it. As great as an actor as the guy was, he just didn't look like the Robert Englund we all knew and loved. And I know that has really nothing to do with this, but in my defense, like the guy that they replaced Fogarty with, I don't remember his name. He sounded like Fogarty. So for me,
but doesn't that make it worse? Like the Journey now's got a freaking Steve Perry wannabe. Every time I hear the guy, I want to choke him. Doesn't that make it worse though?
I know. I guess just because I have such fond memories of that music from growing up with my dad. I'm not saying I approve and, they're my favorite, the new CCR, because no one can ever replace Fogarty. Like no one. So, but
all right, let's get back to this.
I didn't get to go to a CCR concert when I was, I was too young. Yeah. So now I think that has a lot to do with it. Like now I'm at an age where I can appreciate, like really, really go out and, we didn't go to concerts like that when I was a kid. My parents never, so I just
are your parents still with us, Velvet?
Yes, thank the Lord. Yes, they are.
You still got a good relationship like that with your dad?
Yeah, I do. Like they live 5 minutes around the corner.
Now I know they must like say, Velvet, what are you doing with this Mama Luke over here? I mean, come on, Velvet, we could do so much better than that. I know that's going on.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to set you up for more disappointment.
What about
just not answer that?
Velvet, there's no way a guy like him puts down the toilet seat.
He doesn't put down the toilet seat all the time. Okay. And
that's another thing. That's a red flag. That's a red flag.
No, it's a red flag because I have a cat. And when I was young,
the cat drowned it in the toilet bowl.
The cat struggled to get out of the toilet bowl because he jumped up.
So hold on now. This may be something. Is he trying to kill your cat?
He might be trying to kill my cat.
It's a red flag. It
is a red flag. And when he comes home, you know what? I've had it.
Yeah.
You made me see the light.
Now you're smartening up.
You made me see the light today. That was the point of this whole interview. Thank you, Vince. I can go in peace now. Thank you. I cannot believe I didn't see this before.
Now I smarten you up a little bit. Velvet, a little birdie told me earlier today, which I was very excited to hear. And I want to talk about this, and we're going to wrap it up with this because you gave me a wonderful hour of you. With Bubba free, thank God. But a little birdie told me, I know you've been with the school, you've been doing the study, you've been focused, you've been doing real well. But a little birdie told me that, you may be taking a few more bookings here and there, getting out there a little bit more here and there. You've been concentrating on your studies. Is there any truth to this rumor?
Well, yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm really not out there actively, taking as many bookings as I'd like to is really, it's just like the schoolwork. I'm just devoted to like that, so, the part of me that misses performing and that misses kind of being out there, I'm trying to balance my studies with my career as well, because I just, like I said, my focus and my new goal is the ESPN marketing thing. But that doesn't mean I'm going to completely leave wrestling in the rearview mirror, because I'm still passionate about the business. I still love the business. I love the fans. I love performing. That will never change. So in trying to balance, and keep that lifestyle, just equally balanced, I am just picking and choosing my own bookings for the time being, just for a limited time, setting up I actually set it up already.
Tell me about that. Because a lot, like I said, with Podcast One, I'm blessed because we got such a huge reach now. If promoters are listening to this and they haven't been able to reach you, how can they now get a hold of you for bookings?
They just email it's bookvelvet@gmail.com, bookvelvetsky@gmail.com. Sorry. And this is actually the first time that I'm actually going public with it. We're going to issue a press release, just so word gets out there. It's just a very limited, small window of bookings that I'm looking to accept. So it's bookvelvetsky@gmail.com.
Do you maintain a website, Velvet?
I have a website. Like fans are always asking me, where can I buy pictures of you? I do photo shoots regularly with Lee South, and I sell lots and lots and lots of pictures. I sell T-shirts, I sell keychains, hoodies, banners, whatever you name it, it's there. It's ratedv.net is where fans can look for pictures and apparel and just cool stuff.
Phil, I was talking to Nick the other day, Magnus, and he said something. And again, I'm so out of touch, and you're 20 years younger than me. But he was telling me, like, maybe you could tell me a little bit more about this, that like websites are really becoming like passe, and like websites are now almost a thing of the past. Is that true?
What's the newest thing then?
I don't know. I get. Do you do the Instagram and all that jazz?
Oh, yeah. I have an Instagram. And I have a Twitter. I do not have a Facebook. I've never had a Facebook, and so from what I hear, there's lots of posters of me, and people in the business and promoters have actually talked to me on Facebook before.
You hate that? Anyway, I want to get back to this. So you sell the pictures and the hoodies and all this. What's the name of the site?
ratedv.net. Have you heard about the disaster in Dublin, Georgia last weekend?
I heard about. I don't know if you heard about this. Let's clue each other in. Did you read this Twitter thing between Sonny and Brooke?
Oh, I mean, I caught a glimpse of it, but I don't. I have no idea, like what. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, it was horrible. I mean, it was horrible. But I don't want to get. But I want to hear about this Dublin thing. I don't think I know about this.
Well, I mean, it was probably, and I really, really don't like to talk bad about anybody. I really don't like, despite whatever people think of me. But I feel like this is just, this just needs to be addressed. Like promoters that try to do bad business like this guy did last week in Dublin, Georgia. It was pretty much a Legends Fest.
Nobody got paid or something, right? Right?
Yeah, like there were, it was based around Legends. There was a convention / fan fest in the beginning part of the day. And then they were to have a show with the same people, like later on that night. So the guy contacts me not even 10 days before, and he wants to bring me in. I guess, fans were, itching him to please bring Velvet, so he's like, all right, I'm trying to listen to the fans. I know it's last second, but, so, we went back and forth. We agreed on, to do mutual good business together. I took him at his word. I flew out to Atlanta. Then we drove 2 hours the night before to the show. So it was pretty tedious travel day, nonetheless, to begin with. I flew in the night before. We get to, I drove, the promoter picked Sonny and I up at the airport the night before. Drove 2 hours to the hotel, didn't get in till late, yada, yada, yada. Tells us to be in the lobby at 12:30 the next day to take us over to the show. I was supposed to sign from 12 to 4, but now 12:30, he's picking me up. All right. We're in the lobby at 12:30. He's not there. 1 o'clock, he's not there. 1:30, he's not there. And I'm like, okay, I put makeup and high heels on for this. You know what I mean? I'm in the lobby. I'm like, okay, well, I'm 2 hours away from the Atlanta airport. My flight to go home wasn't until 10:30 that night. And here it is. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, great.
Oh, God.
If he doesn't show up, not only am I going to get, gypped out of the work today, I'm like, now, how do I get back to the airport? The guy's buying me a ride. So, phone calls were made, and Sonny and I were just like, what the hell are we going to do? So, finally, the guy's son showed up at 2 o'clock, and he brings us to the show. We're already getting text messages from some of the girls and some of the guys that are there saying how much of a disaster it is already. Terrible. And how much chaos, and there no structure or nothing. So just by the experience of they're picking us up 2 hours late now. They're picking us up 2 hours late. 2 hours, okay? So finally we get there at 2:30. I'm only supposed to be there till 4. I get there. We walk in. All the legends and everything, they're already set up at their tables. There's really not that many fans there. So I don't know how heavily or not this was promoted. Tammy and I, Sonny and I, we had no table set up. Nobody told us where to go. We're standing there with our bags. We're like, where do we go? There was no table space. So I'm trying so hard. Like, I'm exploding inside, but on the outside, I'm keeping that smile. You know, I'm not letting anybody know there's anything wrong. But I mean, nobody could find the promoter. Nobody could find him. But I found him. I finally found him, and I pulled him aside. I said, listen, I'm really, really trying to keep my cool here. I'm like, first of all, I don't trust you based on today. So you need to pay me right now.
Right.
Before I even go in there, you need to pay me right now. He's taking out the money. He's shaking. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, he pretty much gave me everything he had in his pocket, which it wasn't the full amount, but I was like, that's okay. Cause I'm going to go in there and I'm going to keep the photo op money and we're going to call it even. And I'm just going to smile and go home.
Yeah.
Never again. So I go back in. There's no table. There's no pictures. The guy was supposed to supply the pictures. All of a sudden, Tammy and I are standing there. We're just standing in the middle of the room, and all the legends are sitting at the table. You know, just kind of everyone's just kind of looking at each other, going, "What the is going on right now?" Nobody knew what was going on. There was no organization. There was no.
That's terrible. My gosh.
Finally, they start to roll in this big white table. And they look at me. I still have my hoodie on. I still have my purse, my bag. They look at me. They go, Velvet, where do you want your table set up? And I said, are you kidding me? I said, where do I want my table set up? I said, it should have been set up already. I'm used to walking in. You know, the table's set up. The pictures are there. There's somebody there to take the pictures. Here we have this big round white table in the middle of this little tiny room that they put Sonny and I at. There's no pictures. And I'm like, go find, where's the promoter? I finally find the promoter. Where's the pictures? Oh, the stack of them. It's right over there. There was a stack of maybe this many pictures.
Oh, my God. What a disaster.
Printed out on computer paper, pixelated to shit. I'm like,
oh, what a disaster.
So anyways, the guy ended up not being able to pay anybody. So I don't think anybody got paid. And I mean, we have Tully Blanchard, we have Arn Anderson, we have Barry Windham. I mean, we have legends. I mean, it's a legends fest. And I mean, I don't want
to seeing that.
It did not end good for the promoter at all, because a certain legend, and I don't want to expose his name. I mean, he went after the guy, rightfully so. I mean, verbally assaulted him, like rightfully so. You can't do that. Like these promoters, it's like, if you don't have the money, the guy I think was relying on the door, charging an arm and a leg for fans to get in, thinking he's going to make money back on the door. Oh, I can pay everybody with that. That didn't work out. He had the budget was insane. You wouldn't believe how many people like legends.
Yeah, Velvet, I'm a little surprised though. So you did it without any money up front?
Oh no, I got a deposit.
You got some up front. Okay.
No. I'm gonna say I still am owed money from the guy.
Yeah.
But
you got something.
I got everybody's owed money, and apparently the guy came back. Like I ended up getting my own ride to the airport, and I just skipped out of there. I was like, you know what? I said my goodbyes to everybody, and I was like, I'm out of here.
What a pain in the neck, huh? What a pain.
Apparently the guy came back after I had left. I was getting text messages from some of the people saying that the guy came back and wrote everybody checks. So whether or not,
come on,
are you like, they're not gonna clear. If
please.
I'm like, it was God. totally, and I just want to say, like, to promoters out there, like, that's just you can't.
Terrible.
You can't do that. It's so much worse than I'm making it sound like. And
I know. Yep.
In all my years and appearances and bookings in the business, I felt like Ashton Kutcher was going to come out and I was being punked.
Oh God, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Every way you looked, it was like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is happening. And everyone's jaws the whole time were just on the floor. I couldn't make it up in a million years. I couldn't make it up. But that was a headache, and that it was just. Yeah, that guy.
And I can imagine Sonny probably wasn't as calm as you.
Well, everybody handled it differently. Everybody rightfully so. Like there was even a time where like I snapped on the guy. I mean, I didn't go off on a tangent, but
Like in the back seat that time on the phone in the car.
See, that's how gangsters, that's how we do things. We do things on the DL. We can't let everybody know our plan. We can't let everybody know our plot. We have to look the guy in the eye and threaten him.
Well, hopefully it's going to be promoters that really want to do business. What's the new, where can they reach you again? Tell me one more time.
It's bookvelvetsky@gmail.com.
Bookvelvetsky@gmail.com, and then ratedv.com.
.net.
.net, ratedv.net. What about the Twitter?
The Twitter is @VelvelHoller.
Velvel And what about the Instagram?
It's @SkyIsVelvet.
Okay, and we're not doing the Facebook.
We're never doing the Facebook. I have no interest in. I did the whole.
I'm not a Facebook. You know, Velvet, I'm so scared to death of Facebook because people ask me stuff and I never know. When I answer them, is it just going to them? Is it going to everybody? It's a whole to-do. That's why I like Twitter. Twitter's simple. You know what I mean?
It's like I did the whole MySpace thing, and then when MySpace fell off, I was just not interested in Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook, everybody airs their dirty laundry.
Yeah.
Not that they don't do that on Twitter, but Twitter is more a networking device tool that I use to promote and
very
market
much so
my brand, and that's all I use it for. I don't go on there to like follow the latest fads and trends. Like I go there to promote my brand and to market myself and my business.
I go on there for two things. I go on there to promote my brand, and I go on there to bury the Disco Inferno. Those are the two. He's you know, Velvet, I know you've never crossed paths with Disco, but like you
Actually,
you did, and he was like, he's just a horrible human being, correct?
I only knew him briefly from when I worked with him in TNA the first.
And it was a terrible experience, right?
It was.
All right, that's a yes. All right, Velvet, let's just review before you go. Working with Disco was a terrible experience. We've established Bubba snores like a zoo animal. He's got some kind of sickness with paper towels.
I can't even explain it.
Can't even put that into words. And he's trying to kill the cat.
And he's trying to kill my cat. And I honestly, like, you know what? You really made me see the light today with
Well,
it.
you need to talk to the stepdad who came up, who named you Velvet. That's what I'm here for.
I can't even believe that. Like all these things together, bunched together, and I never saw the light until now. Thank you so much. See, I knew we had a connection for a reason.
We have the connection. And listen, when you got to come back on, when you get the degree. That would be tremendous to talk about. Sure. You show me the degree, which what you're doing is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you. And I just want to like say to like the people that are in the business, like it's like I said, it's really hard for me to branch outside the wrestling bubble that I've been in, because it's your hopes, it's your passions, it's your dreams, it's all you ever wanted to do. But there is life after wrestling. Yes. You just have to accept it. You have to set yourself up. You can't live in the wrestling bubble forever unless you're, you know, a trillionaire and you can just live off your riches and support your, you know, your hobby as a wrestler. But I mean, other than that, your body can't handle it after a while.
You know what I always tell people, and I always tell this to myself more than anyone else, because it's real simple when you break it down. I deal a lot with depression, and I always have, okay? But when I get in those places, here's the one thing I always say to myself. We literally have a God that gave us life. He took the time out to create each and one of us. Do we honestly think he created us so we could be miserable? Like when you think about that, how ridiculous is it?
No, that's why each person, you have to find yourself. You have to find, like, you can't, like, I cannot exist, just to take up space. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. My spirit will not allow me to do that. So I can't just wake up every day and just like, you know, go through the motions of life. I still like the goals that I set for myself personally and professionally will always be there. Even after, like, you know, God willing, I get into ESPN, there will still be goals set above, you know, beyond ESPN. There will be new goals. Right now, I don't know those goals. I have to live my life out toward, you know, my current goal. But that's the thing we have to do, is just like wrestling is not the end all of life. And I think I used to be in that mind frame where it's like, well, if I don't wrestle, if I'm not a wrestler, if I don't make it to WWE, my life is over. That is not the case. If I don't make it to WWE, it's because God doesn't want me there, and it's because it was not meant to be for me.
That's
and
right.
you have to accept that, and you have to take your life and you have to shift that energy and your passion into something, you know, that's going to benefit you in the long run. You know what I mean? Like, there's life after wrestling. Take it from me.
You know what? If we're not going to listen to the lovely Velvet Sky, who are we going to listen to then? That's what I have to say.
I don't have all the answers. I'm just going off of my own personal experiences and how I'm trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to detach myself from wrestling at all. I still want to be involved in the industry. I'm not hanging it up by any means, but I do have a new shift and I do have new goals that I'm working towards. And that's what's changing. My shift has, you know, I want to go to WWE. I want to, ESPN is where I see, hopefully is where I see, you know, my new dreams and my new goals coming to light, just like how wrestling was.
Yeah. Well, Velvet, I thank you. We can't wait another year. I can't believe we haven't had a conversation. Let's talk again sooner, but let's make sure like Bubba's on the road or something. You know,
We'll make sure he's on the road so we can bury his paper towel.
He's on the road snoring and having a paper towel fetish, whatever it is. He does.
The garbage that I take out every night is mostly paper towels. Just from him, he'll wash his hands. He'll put soap, wash his hands, and instead of grabbing the towel, he'll just rip a paper. And I'm saying, stop that.
It's a sickness. It's like a sickness. It's a sickness with him with the paper towels.
I can't stand it.
What a horrible human being. It's a sickness with him. Well, Velvet, you know I love you. I always have. You know, I'll never forget, Vel. I'm going to tell you something real quick, and then I'm going to let you go because I could talk to you forever. But I'll never forget. You and you'll know, we were at TNA. We were, you know, getting started. We wanted to introduce a bunch of girls at the same time. We needed a bunch of girls, and that was Terry Taylor's job. How ironic is that? But anyway, Terry Taylor gets all these girls, and he comes to me and he says to me, and like you said, this is 2007, Vince, there's this one girl you're gonna particularly like. You're going to like this girl. I know you. You're particularly going to like her. And it was the lovely Velvet Sky.
Oh, that's so cool to hear. That really is, because like I mean, I love and respect Terry like you know how I do you. And Terry has always been one of Terry always did like good by me in TNA. Yeah. I miss Terry. I miss working with him like I miss working with you. Yeah. So I didn't know that, and I mean I'm glad you me that. Thank you for telling me that. That's
you're welcome. And Terry probably too, just for the record, he probably didn't like have a sickness with paper towels. But anyway, Velvet, thank you so much for joining us.
I just want to thank you too. Just before you sign off, I just want to thank you for everything.
You don't have to. You have to thank me.
No. You helped me jumpstart my career, and I had a very satisfying one because of you. And I just thank you for everything. Really.
Yeah, well, I'm just glad I could show you the other side of Bubba, because somebody's got to show you that, and I think we accomplished that here today.
We did.
All right.